right here on the Muskegon Channel. I'm Andy O'Reilly. Dave Cackley's over yonder. We are looking at is it Thursday already?
Yeah, it is Thursday, and
Hokey Pete.
I got a bone to pick with somebody.
Oh
right
boy,
right off the bat, and that's with ABC. It's with ABC News. David Muir.
Oh, I thought it was going to be me.
We're going to get into that. We're going to get into the big story, which of course it's D-Day. So they had the big news coverage out there. ABC News was out there doing their thing, and they were covering it all the way up. First, they were going to come to the local news at like 6:20. Then it became like 6:30. Then it was going to be 6:45. David Muir could not fill the last 20 seconds. They literally came back to the local affiliates with 20 seconds left before like Good Morning America. And James and Camdy did a good job of like kind of putting a bow on it and everything. And that was fine. But really, David Muir, all the money you're making, you couldn't fill another 20 seconds? Really? Everybody had to be on standby because you couldn't talk an extra 20 seconds, not even a 30-second ad spot length. That's ridiculous. Shame on you, David Muir. Shame. There you go. I'm fine now.
Let me tell you something. I feel your pain, dog. Like, I'm really down with your suffering this morning.
Right, yeah. Because I'm sure you were up then.
What a cross to bear you've got.
Didn't affect me. I didn't really care, but it was just like, it was dumb. It's like, you got 20 extra seconds. Just, you don't have to go back to the local news for 20 seconds. You can talk for 20 more seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. Wrap it up out there. You're out there. You're at Normandy.
Worst comes to worst, you can ask for a moment of silence.
Yeah, exactly. And that would be a nice thing. No, you got to send it back. Sorry, I've had enough. I've done enough talking. I'm David Muir. I got to go fix my hair. I'm fine
thank
now.
you for that pointless complaint to get the day started. I feel better now. And
it wasn't a pointless. Come on, man.
Didn't even affect you, and you're bitching.
I know, but it was. See
what happens when life gives you nothing to complain about.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's why I've said we invent things to complain about now because we don't really have anything. Nobody has anything.
Doing what you do.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Got to come up with something, man. Life's too good.
You did fine. You did great.
Yeah, didn't I? I thought that was pretty good. I think that was a pretty good rant against.
Golf clap. There you go.
Pretty good rant against the national.
Are you going to do news or are you going to continue to whine about nothing?
All right, let's do it. Let's get into it. D-Day, of course, June 6, 1944. Today is the 75th anniversary. Allied forces stormed the beaches at Normandy to liberate Europe from Hitler's Germany. 4,000 were killed. More than 2,500 of those were American soldiers. Great spectacle out there commemorating the 75th anniversary. It was great. I was thinking about this as it was going on, though. The kids who died that day, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, babies. These are babies when you think of them in today's, but they weren't babies. These were real men. These were actual men. These were men that, for the most part, don't exist now. Because for all the advances we've made, and we made a lot of advances, especially like socially, the rights of women, minorities, gays, that's all great. But what's been lost, what's really being eliminated is men, like real men with, purpose and guys who will die for the cause.
Right.
And
I think
we just don't have
the times dictate that, though. I mean, back then,
right.
But beyond, I think today, if something like that came along, well, maybe not with the technology we got and everything now. I don't know if we'll ever see a draft like we did back then.
But we're soft. It's part of the evolution of man, I guess. But we are soft.
Realistically, though, do you really think an 18-year-old was much different then than they are today?
That's a good point. That's a fair. I think they were tougher. I think they were forced to be what 18-year-olds today don't have to be.
That's exactly it.
You're absolutely right when it comes to that. But you look at every generation, because that was considered the greatest generation because it was in most respects. Okay. Then you had the baby boomers, and then you had us, Generation X. We come in, and we're not a lot better than the millennials we crap on. Don't get me wrong, millennials are much worse. They're much worse by and large. It's not even close. I mean, we're soft-ish. They are really soft. They're like squeezable Charmin soft. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I don't let us off the hook either. I mean, you and I aren't real men. We're faking our way through. We're inching closer to 50, and we haven't hit that point. We're not. We're just not. It's a sad fact, but I don't even know what to do about it, because it's the way things are now. Amazing.
May I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
Really?
I'm walking into this. I set this up on a tee for you. Go ahead.
Then I won't bother.
Go on. You can do it.
Next.
You played T-ball. Yeah. Hey, speaking of this is okay. This is a story that ABC News, it was one of their headlines. You're not going to find this on any of the other networks. You're not going to find it on NBC, CBS. You're not going to find it on Fox News, CNN.
You better be careful, because you got to remember where you're sitting this morning.
I understand where I'm sitting.
Okay, all right.
That's what I said. There's a difference. I said ABC News was the only one who covered this, but they didn't even do it right. They didn't even cover this right. YouTube is going to start banning what it believes to be hate videos. Now, ABC did a little headline on this where it says YouTube is finally understanding the criticism of like white. Basically, they were saying YouTube is getting rid of white supremacist and hate speech and all that, which you'd think for some people would say fine. Excuse me. But that's not what's going on.
Ooh.
That's not what's going on.
Okay, what's going on?
The site has come under criticism for not effectively policing its content. In a blog post, YouTube said, in part, the openness of our platform has helped creativity and access to information. It's our responsibility to prevent our platform from being used to incite hatred, harassment, discrimination, or violence. That sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Sounds fine. Sounds okay. So we don't want hatred. We want discrimination, violence. The problem is it's really vague, and this basically comes down to two people. There were two guys who were having a spat online. It was Steven Crowder and a guy named Carlos Amaza, who his Twitter handle is @gaywonk. He's a Vox News. Some would call journalist. Others would say he's more of an editorialist. Steven Crowder is a right wing kind of comedian. He's a talk guy. These guys aren't journalists. We have very few journalists anymore. Okay. Anyway, basically, this guy Carlos Maza said Steven Crowder was being mean to him. Basically, that's what it was. He was being kind of making fun of him. Vox would put up these videos, and then Crowder's guys, they would basically point by point, rebut the videos, and then he would do some schoolyard insults towards this guy Carlos Maza. Now these are two millionaires. I mean, Steven Crowder he's got like 3.8 million subscribers. Vox News, they have about 6 million. The thing that's not being talked about, what's happening is YouTube is eliminating a lot of people have gotten caught up in this that didn't have anything to do with this little tete-a-tete between these two guys. A lot of independent journalists have basically lost their livelihoods because YouTube is eliminating everything. I mean, it was a scorched earth thing. They're basically going through and getting rid of like middle of the road journalists who, and the reason you're not seeing the networks even reporting on this is because their ratings have gone down. They're getting their legs taken out from them from a lot of these independent sites, including like Huffington Post, Breitbart. Vox is actually they've got NBC behind them, so they're kind of ginning this up. They want YouTube to eliminate a lot of these. They're not necessarily eliminating these videos, but they're demonetizing them, so these people can't make a living off real journalism. And it's fascinating to watch. It's fascinating, but like I said, it's unfortunate because, I mean, once again, it's YouTube. They've got the right to do this as a business, But when it comes to free speech and journalism being that thing that you need to keep it, to keep both sides in check, this is what they're doing is dangerous. And when you think about the fact that this is how people get where do people get their information from? Where do they get a lot of their news now? It's Twitter, it's Facebook, it's YouTube. It's that's where you get a lot of your news content now. And they're trying to go after a lot of these independent news sites because it's competition. They don't want the competition. And it doesn't matter whether it's Fox News or whether it's NBC they don't want it. And this guy is basically it's literally because this guy thought Steven Crowder was being mean to him.
Okay.
And that's how all this exploded. It's crazy. You got to do deep dives on this. We don't have time in this to really get into but it's Tim Pool. Here's a guy you want to look up. One of the last journalists, most even-handed you're going to find, Tim Pool. Look him up. Follow him on Twitter. This is a guy that is doing real journalism. He understands this better than anybody, and it's really worth checking out. Trust me. Whatever your political side of the aisle, whatever you view as news, real news, fake news, this guy has a handle on all of it. It's really, really impressive. Anyway, moving on. It's still too cold to jump in any of the Great Lakes, but if you are hitting the beach in Muskegon this weekend, probably going to want to stay out of the water. Water temp still hanging around 50. Do you even do that? Do you jump in the lake when you hit the beach?
I'm still trying to get through the last story that you took 8 minutes to tell. Who,
what,
where, what? No. Oh, the water. Oh, okay. Hey, Andy, wake up. Water? No, I don't jump in the water. No.
Okay.
I have no reason to jump in the water. What's the sense of that?
I didn't take 8 minutes to tell it. I had to condense it all. There was so much information.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
Go back and listen to it later this afternoon. Tell me how you
the reason is,
it.
well, the reason is, it affects guys like you and me, potentially.
Dude, you're telling me?
Something you and I say.
I run Positively Muskegon, right?
Right.
Facebook cut 4,000 members out of the group just because they never interacted with the group. Cut them. They said they never interacted with your group. They're gone. They took 4,000 subscribers away from the Positively Muskegon group just because they never hit like or hit comment or any of that kind of stuff. I see it. I know.
Well, and you know what Facebook doesn't realize is most people are passive. They don't interact.
I know.
They just, it's there. Let's check it out.
Welcome to stock market owned media.
It's amazing. Man.
Anyway, back to Lake Michigan. No, I'm not jumping in Lake Michigan.
Yeah, jumping in Lake Michigan.
I love Lake Michigan. You know what I love about Lake Michigan? I love driving past it and making sure it's still there.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Hey, look at that. Nice. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, but I can't remember. No, that's not true. Like a year or two ago, I'd go in there with Max because Alexa's parents would rent a house on the lake for like a week or so, and I'd occasionally join them and hang out for a bit. But yeah, the water is bitterly cold like in July when it's 90. When it's like barely in the 70s and you're jumping into a 50-degree lake, yeah, no thank you.
I look at it like this. You're going to get dirt in your toes. You might get sand in your butt crack. No. Everybody else come and enjoy Lake Michigan. I'll stay here.
There you go. Well said.
Thank you.
Sports. Tigers fall to Tampa Bay 4-0. Cubs win. They beat Colorado 9-8. It was Toronto over Golden State, Game 3 of the NBA Finals, 123-109. They lead that series 2-1. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup, that all knotted up at 2 games apiece tonight. St. Louis, Boston. That's sports.
I'd like to comment, too, on the Rays relief pitchers. This is day 2 of Rays relief pitchers. I hated the relief pitcher again last night. Yeah. Pitched like a total jerk. I hated his stance. I hated the way he kicked and dealed. I hated everything about him.
Like if you're a relief pitcher, every relief pitcher it seems like has that one little. They're kind of quirky. They come
weirdos.
in, they throw like 5.
Like
they come in, they throw 5 pitches, and then they go home.
Yeah.
So they got to do something.
For a couple million a year.
Exactly. Not a bad.
You know what's going
to
change next year though? Next year, when they put a relief pitcher in, they're going to have to face at least 3 batters.
It sounded like that.
Okay.
It takes the strategy out of the game. I you know why they're trying to speed up the game because baseball takes an eternity to play.
Right.
Trust me, I went to Max's game last night. He's got one more game. It took an hour and a half, felt like 3 hours. It's just it really did. I love him. Hey, he got the first hit of the game for for his team. I mean, they got bum rushed 11-1, but
All right,
yeah,
say goodbye, Dave.
it's too long. It's too long, and this podcast has been too long.
Yes, it has. Say goodbye, Dave.
Tomorrow. Bye.